Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people that want the best info, but just don't have the time. Get your podcast fix with the Cliff Notes versions of your favorite podcasts. No fluff, just the actionable golden nuggets. Having this much knowledge at your fingertips should be downright illegal. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with Satori Prime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Ilan Ferdman. So welcome. If you didn't know yet, then you should know that at satoriprime.com/podcast contest, we are now giving away a $750 one-on-one consultation with myself and my brother. So if you're looking for any improvement in your business, whether for us to review your funnels, for us to review your offerings, for us to help you 5x your business very quickly, we are giving one of those sessions away. All you have to do is head over to satoriprime.com/podcast contest and enter to win. All the instructions are there. Okay, so today is kind of an impromptu podcast. Why? Because I just watched a video and I was really moved by the video. And the first thing I thought to do was, I have to share this with you guys. So I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a video going around right now on Facebook, probably on YouTube as well, of Jim Carrey's commencement speech. So there's like a minute clip with a few highlights, but as soon as I saw that minute clip, I thought, okay, there has to be a full version of this. So I found it, I listened to it, I was laughing, I was crying, I was moved, I was inspired, and it was just so incredible. I figured I have to do a performance enhancing podcast on it. So I just want to kind of give you a few of the nuggets that I pulled away and gems that Jim Carrey, who would have known, is such a legend when it comes to personal development and mindset, etc. So here are some of the things I took away. So he had a few great one-liners like, I cannot be contained because I am the container. Things like, I used to think that my existence is only as far as my skin. Then I realized that everything outside of me is also part of me. So there's a bunch of really great one-liners, but there's a few really amazing takeaways. Now, if you listen to Guy and I or Satori Prime at any amount of length, then you know that one of the things we're really, really diligent about is separating what's real from what people make up, right? Like the stories that people make up. So he used a great analogy, which I'd never heard before, which is, there's a huge difference between the dog that is going to eat you in your mind and the dog that is actually going to eat you. And what's amazing is that many people never learn that distinction throughout their whole lives. And they end up living in a flight or fight response. So as soon as you come to realize, and we spoke a lot about this in the Performance Enhancing Podcast, that what is occurring in your mind, right? Your brain is there to protect you from the unknown. And by doing that, it has to use these tactics. But there's a massive difference between real fear, like actually something about to hurt you or kill you, and the things that we make up. And for most of us, we never, ever distinguish that. So I thought that was brilliant. Another thing that he said that I loved is that the world is starving for new ideas and new leaders. And I find that to be more true today than ever. If you look at the self-help shelves in bookstores, it used to be one aisle. Today, it's probably a $3 billion industry with God knows how many books coming out each and every day. The world is calling for you. Now, he shared an amazing story about his father and a lesson he learned about fear. He said, fear will be a player in your life. Always. Now, we make our decisions in life in either one of two choices. The choice either comes from love or from fear. But what he said that I've never heard before is that so many of us mistake our decision based out of fear disguised as practicality. So I want you to think about that for a second. Fear disguised as practicality. How many times in your life have you said something like, well, that's just not realistic. Or I'm going to choose this because this is safer. Now, whether you said it to yourself or not, you thought it, right? So that is a form of fear, which I never realized till he said it, but it's so true. We cover up our fears by saying things like, well, this is just practical, or this is just realistic, or this is just safe. So we disguise that fear by using it as practicality, which is just absolute genius. See, what we really want seems impossible and sometimes ridiculously out of reach. So we never even dare go for it. We never even dare ask the universe to provide it to us. And what Jim said up there is, ask for it. He goes, what right do I have to be here standing in front of you right now? I was a joker, right? And here I am because I had the balls to ask for it. Now, he shared an amazing story about his father. His father could have been a great comedian, but he was afraid, and he made the safe, right? The practical choice, and became an accountant. 12 years later, that safe choice was lost when he lost his job. And Jim and his father and his family had to do everything in their power just to survive. In fact, Jim shares a story in separate videos that I've seen of him, that he slept in a car basically for a good part of 2 years. So Jim took an amazingly powerful lesson out of this. He said, you can fail at what you don't want anyway. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. See, it's just incredible to think about how many people go the safe route. And you're still going to fail. I mean, listen, failure is just a part of life. But why not fail at what you love? Why not fail at what you are destined to do? God, what a powerful, powerful statement. Jim went on to say that his dad actually treated Jim's talent of obviously making people laugh as his second chance at life, right? Because he gave up on that to be safe. And it took Jim till about the age of 28 to realize his true purpose in life. Now, it might not be what you actually think it is. What he realized was that his purpose in life is to free people from concerns. I'll say it again, free people from concerns, right? Laughter frees people, even momentarily, from your shitty day. And that's what he pursued for the rest of his life to master, is freeing people from their concerns. How beautiful is that? So, where does that lead us? Jim says all you have to figure out in life is what do they need? In other words, what does the universe, what does this planet, what do people need that your talent can provide for them? See, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Not money, but the effect you can have on others is the greatest currency you have. And I can speak from my heart when I say that when Guy and I finally chose to start Satori Prime, and probably a year and a half later when we actually figured out what we are able to contribute to society, I wake up every day passionate, alive, fulfilling my destiny, making a profound difference in people's lives because I figured out that I have a certain skill set, a certain talent that affects people in a very, very positive way. And you know what? That's what has me go to bed at night feeling freaking amazing. Not the money in my bank account. It's the emails from people like you. You changed my life. Because of you, I'm now in a loving relationship. Because of you, I finally had my first $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 month. That makes me elated. Not the money. The money just comes after. When you tap into your best self, the greatest version of you, it's absolutely extraordinary. It's living on fire. It's living elated. There's no other thing that can give you that kind of feeling. Then Jim switched to another topic, which was really beautiful. And he said, to find real peace, you need to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. I'm going to say that again because it's really, really powerful. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. And he ended it with this: risk being seen in all of your glory. How pretty is that? And then he kept coming. I mean, the lines were just so pretty. I actually wrote them verbatim because they're really that pretty. And I just don't want to distort them. He said, ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We're the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not true. We all have a light in us, an extraordinary light. And when you chip away at everything that blocks that light from shining through, that's what moves me. That's my mission, is to chip away at the walls and barriers that people place in front of them that does not allow this light to shine. It's just smoke and mirrors, guys. Once you move it out of the way, who you become for others is just magical. He says, I sometimes wish that everyone in the world could experience their total wealth and fame so that they can see that that's not where you find your sense of completion. That you find your self of completion when you're out there fulfilling your life's purpose, and that you're actually letting that light shine through. Imagination is constantly producing thoughts, both good and bad, and the ego tries to keep you trapped in the multiplex of the mind. Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors. Fear writes that script with the working title, I'll never be enough. See, if you listen to your ego, there will always be someone better than you. There will always be someone doing something that you look to and say, they have it so easy, or, oh, their life is so gifted, or blah, 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 right? But that's the ego just playing tricks on you. That's how it actually keeps you small. That's how it keeps you in the stupid, small box that you make. You are enough. You're more than enough. And when you finally realize and just relax and let go and let you be you, the highest, best version of you, you finally live your dream. You finally live the good life. So then he shared a story, an amazing story about a substitute teacher that when he was back in Ireland, that basically told him that when she prayed, she didn't just pray for what she wanted, she actually offered something in return. So he was really young, and, as a kid, his parents were pretty poor, and he wanted a bike. So he basically asked the universe for a bike and said, in return, for the next X amount of weeks, I'll recite the rosary. And he broke that promise, obviously. But 2 weeks later, he got a brand new bike because a friend of his had entered his name in a raffle. Now, how many times have you guys had something where you've really, really wanted something, willed something into existence, and then magically, by some, what we call coincidence, it actually shows up in your life? Well, there are no coincidences. There are no accidents. We create everything, good and bad. This just happened to be a really great example, right? But what he took away from that is that ever since that day, that kind of stuff has been happening to him ever since. You know why? Because he believes, he has faith that it will. Let the universe know what you want, and then work your ass off for it. And then the last piece, which is the most brilliant piece, is, and let go of how it comes to pass. Ask, work, and let go that it has to look a certain way. Your job is not to figure out how it happens. Just look for the open doors and walk through it. And if you miss the door or you miss your cue to walk through the door, fear not, because doors are opening all the time. Isn't that beautiful? How many times have you thought like this happened and you absolutely lost the opportunity of your lifetime, only to find that a few months later, a year later, 2 years later, an even better opportunity came? Guys, life doesn't come at us the way we want it to come at us. It comes at us sometimes the way we need it to come at us. So just always look at your experience of life, right? A lot of times we make up our weird version of how reality is. But when you actually boil it down and you look back at maybe a 5-year, 10, 15-year window, you'll see that the travesties in your life actually ended up being the biggest gifts in life. You'll see that when one door opened, when one door closed, another one opened, and it was way, way better. So don't fret. He also says you'll come up with your own style. There's no right or wrong way, which I agree with 100%. And then he says a beautiful line, take a chance on faith. Not religion, faith. Not hope, faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire. Faith leaps over it. Faith, my friends. Faith in that things will work. Faith in that you deserve the life that you have. That you deserve the life that you want. Faith. Not hope. Faith. And I'll end it with this, which is what he ended with. You only ever have two choices in life. Love or fear. Choose love and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. That, my friends, was Jim Carrey's commencement speech at the Maharishi University, which, by the way, I'm going to do a separate podcast about Maharishi University, which is the first time I've ever heard of it. Beautiful educational system. But I hope you took some gems. I'm going to leave the full YouTube video of the speech. I highly recommend you listen to it. I mean, I just became a massive Jim Carrey fan, even bigger than I was already, just because of this speech. It was that profound and that beautiful. So with that, I'll end today's podcast. Hope you enjoyed these gems as much as I did. And remember, head over to satoriprime.com/podcast contest to enter yourself into the drawing for the $750 free one-on-one hour consultation. There's a whole bunch of other prizes that we're offering as well. Have an amazing, amazing day, everyone. Love you all, and we'll speak real soon.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Performance Enhancing Podcast. We've taken this pep talk and created a custom action guide so you know exactly what action steps to take now to grow your business. Just head over to satoriprime.com/podcast and download it for free. Also, please leave a comment and rate this podcast on iTunes. It'll help us get the word out. Thanks for listening. Now, go and implement. We'll see you next time.